What's going on, everyone? I watched about 15 spring seasonal pilot episodes. What I was interested in doing is giving it the green light, the yellow light, or the red light. Just a way to kind of get very brief impressions of a lot of shows. And I'm not doing any of the reoccurring seasonals, so Slime and My Hero and whatever else is out this season. This is for the new stuff because we're here for new anime. If this is your first time on the channel, I make reaction videos. I just love animation, music, cartoons. So if you want to see more of that, let me know down below. All right, let's get to it. Grandpa and Grandma turn young again. The first seasonal that I watched, and it was one of my most anticipated for the new season. What started out as such a heartfelt and wonderful premise, it ended up being an underwhelming pivot as it quickly skipped the couple's long-tenured relationship and love even before the OP hits. We get the gist of their financial situation, but upon turning young, they don't really go into what their goals are, and it was just everyone being shocked and built up rivalries from the past. I felt much more creative and tension was needed, and the fact that they completely just dove into this swap was unsatisfying. I'm gonna give it a couple more episodes, but I'm saying this is a yellow light. Astro note: the genre tags interest me as the sci-fi and slice of life blend is unique. Plus, I was also hearing this could have some similarities to Maisa no Koku, which right now I am watching. It's a slow but cozy beginning. Seems like Maisa no Koku, as we won't get to those later plot reveals until a couple of episodes in. The other lodge members don't really stand out or offer much. Animation can be pleasing and pretty to look at. It's tame and generic until we get to the final minutes where the sci-fi elements come into fruition. Another middle-of-the-road first episode that feels a bit generic, but the ending definitely leaves you wanting to watch more. I'm giving this a stale yellow. Jellyfish can't swim in the night. After two underwhelming pilots, I was hoping for this next one to make up for it. Jellyfish was by far the best and strongest pilot. Its aesthetics with its character designs, the wonderful music and the busy color lights, the themes of dreams and how one rediscovers that spark after being shunned, friendship and a bond that is perfectly represented by the jellyfish metaphor. You feel the cuteness and intensity. You want to root and empathize for them and their differences, the goals. The impression this episode had was strong, and I expect to tune in weekly for the season. The first green light, the fable. The intro covers base. Dark setting, great gun and hand-to-hand combat. It sets up the situation of a hitman needing to lay low and to be a regular civilian as the organization has been too active with its crimes. Sato has an emotionless and deadpan personality, so this will set up for such a contrast to his usual serious and quick lifestyle, which could be entertaining or awkward. The animation was a bit flat, and it feels like it could have been more fun and expressive. The series clocks in at 25 episodes, which I feel this one episode alone doesn't necessarily hook you in, but it does make you wonder how Sato will live in his new life. If all those elements sound appealing, I would give it a shot, giving it a stale yellowish. High Speed Itoli, something like that. Embarrassingly, I had read the synopsis of the show sometime last year, and I was invested as I love stories where one person finds a passion and leaves a passion that they are currently in. Upon watching this episode did not deliver on that, and fails to get any type of interest for me. The biggest weakness or problem being the animation. It feels wonky and preliminary. It's not exciting or detailed. It feels out of place and awkward. I haven't watched much racing anime, but I was not convinced or persuaded by the explanation or impressed visually. They did reveal the MC at the end, but I feel continuing the show just isn't really worth it. Unfortunately, I will be watching another one to see her story, but I would not recommend this series based on the first episode. Red Light, which is kind of fitting actually, because Cars, Red Light. Girls Band Cry. CGI anime, two more CGI anime. Luckily, it delivers, and it has much more compelling story. Seems cute girls and music is the trend these days. This one is similar to Jellyfish as it has two people who share a common goal that does involve music in some capacity, with one girl kind of done with the industry or her chasing and the other one just getting into it. The characters fit well together and the music is great. The animation will get the most noise, but I felt it was embraced and extremely polished, especially with its facial expressions and the bigger moments. There will be times when it looks like it's off, and then others where it's the most beautiful frame scene that you'll see. Give these girls a shot. I'm giving this a early yellow. Oh, go Loser Ranger. It seems there's a sort of superhero for supervillains performance. It's not the most clear, as the part A of the episode is slow. It's not until we get to the part B where the bigger picture comes into play, as the villains are 0 and 99, and they want to shift the script and take down the heroes. I like this switch in perspectives as good versus evil and how it creates this underdog story. Still, some confusion if it's an improv or if it's scripted. Maybe that's the meta aspect of it. Also, the opening is going to be somewhere in the top 10 of this year. It is incredible. It's been on repeat for me since I first heard it. Slow start, but I will be giving this more episodes, so this is going to be a green light. Blue Archive, the animation. Cute girls and guns. Unfortunately, this one did nothing for me. I do think it's based on a video game, but I didn't have much interest or care in it as it was playing. Perhaps there's bigger meaning and impact as it goes on, but I think my journey with it ends here. Red light. Re-Monster. Not a big isekai fan, but I was left pleasantly surprised. I love the initial starting from the bottom element. The episode is structured into days as the main character develops quickly. It was a bit too fast for my liking, but I respect the development of skills and abilities that's also shown in the other goblins around him. The characters grow by reaching a certain level. There also seems to be a video game skill setup when there's a new ability. And I think before he was a vampire in the world. Two interesting elements that might intrigue or put off. The episode did have some gruesome moments, but the animation style didn't make for the blood and gore it could have had. Still, I want to see how far they go with the levels, the potential in other species and worlds. I'm walking cautiously, but I'm giving this more episodes. So this gets the green light, but it just turned yellow. Windbreaker. Already some impressive art styles with the rope analogy, much like how Jellyfish has a jellyfish. The show follows a delinquent who loves to fight, but we realize the judgment and ostracizing he has received. At first, it seemed like this was going to be a sort of power fantasy and hero story, but the further we go, the messages and hardships of our main character faces due to his outward appearance becomes apparent. Apparently, there's also a sort of school or fighting school, which seems a bit ridiculous, but I suppose it's not the worst thing. We see how strong the main character is as we get an impressive 1 versus an entire gang sequence that has some amazing choreography and pacing. Probably the most impressed I've been in a fighting scene since season 2 of Link Click. All this echoes through the main character's head as the person he saved preaches about needing a team and others in order to be successful in the city, which counters the way that he has lived his life and approaches his life. He meets the respected groups of the delinquents as they have tried to minimize the crime in the city. He sees how people are not afraid of them and is motivated to become a fighter. They pretty much nailed the selling point with the main character and his lone wolf versus desire to be respected and not judged. It sort of feels like if Bakugo had an urge to maybe learn from his mistakes or see the process through. Definitely want to see more of this series. This is an easy green light. Viral hit. This seems like what Gen Z or Gen Alpha does for clout these days. But it's centered around YouTube and making that money, as everyone at school is a YouTuber as they call it. YouTube something? Not to be rude, but this character is the most bitch-made character I have seen since the main character from Tokyo Revengers. I forgot his name. I try to forget it. I also got heavy vibes of torture and sadist porn, as it seems like they force you to feel bad for this guy because he's so spineless. It's hard to root for him. The action was solid, but maybe I expected a little bit more. I didn't watch Lookism, but I kind of get a similar vibe with this one. I think the concept alone will garner a few more episodes, but with the pretty obvious betrayal and feeling bad for the main character, I don't think I'll be returning to this one. I'm going to give this a red light. Bartender. So I was at the gym when I watched the first episode, but I don't think that's going to impact the way that I experienced the episode. Slow first half, as it sets up the second half. A business is looking for a bartender who can make a god drink. Girls go around town and accidentally interact with an awkward man, but it turns out he's a bartender. The second half picks up and might make this series worth watching. We get a well-crafted, informative, sentimental side of drinking. The hand movements and pouring of ingredients is gorgeous, and the music and climax moment made me feel goosebumps. I feel the plot development and the same drinks occurring was a bit too on the nose, but it managed to have a emotional and breathtaking moment. This feels like a comfortable and cool show to watch with someone. Maybe someone... and perhaps beginner mixology pursuers. With the passionate art for bartending and the little mystery of why the bartender comes to town, there's enough to keep watching this. Be a bartender, green light. A Condition Called Love. A recommendation I received from a fellow Instagram user. Some could portray the way the main guy acts toward the main girl as creepy or sweet. I think this will determine whether you get along with the romance. Hotaru has the most interesting view of love, as she doesn't understand why anyone would want to fall in love, or even how one feels when they do. This complements Saki's perspective, as he believes in soulmates and the love meaning giving your all to one person. He acts like a puppy towards her as he tries to gain her approval and do sweet things. This in turn will make Hotaru start to feel emotions and love and understand, which she wants to further explore with Hotaru. Definitely fits in that category of cute and sweet. Unfortunately, for me, this one just doesn't interest me as much, but it can be adorable and wholesome. So I'm skipping, but you might like it. Kind of light yellow. Spice and Wolf. Following a potential romance story is the classic Spice and Wolf. This is actually my first time tuning into the series after being on my watch list for many years. The first episode it's pretty boring. Boring usually just means slow paced, as the setting revolves around farms and crops. We meet Hollow, who was a master harvester, but is now sort of useless. The main character, Kraft Lawrence, and her go travel together, as they seem to have a much annoyed but caring partnership. So I'm not saying the show isn't good or worth watching, but it will be one where you probably don't feel the effects of it until you watched multiple episodes. I'm only saying that it didn't really hook me in like a lot of the other previous shows have done. I might give it an episode or two, but I'm saying this is a possible red light, but it's like that, that yellow light that's like really late. I don't know. Kaiju number 8. This is the final show, and for some reason, going into this, I was not optimistic with just a squad taking on a kaiju. It didn't seem like the characters would matter or the situation was any different from the ordinary genre. Immediately, they throw you into the perspective of the cleanup crew of the kaiju aftermath, of the fighters, the blood, the poo. Suddenly, the angle became so much more fresh and entertaining. There is this common theme of not being good enough to pursue one's dreams. This contrasts to the top kaiju warrior, Mina, as she gets all the glory and is revealed to have an emotional childhood promise with the main character, Kafka. Kafka? Like the guy who wrote the memoir? No, never mind. Their relationship and the difference between the sides already has great potential. Then the end will undoubtedly hook you in, as Kafka, you know what I mean, has a sort of demon insect go inside him. Sounds like a hentai. Turning him into a scary-looking skeleton creature with some awesome music to accompany this. This first episode has me sold. Complete green light. And that is a shallow and quick, concise recap of 2024 spring anime. This is just me spewing. I wanted to try pilots because on this channel I have a series where I do watch pilot episodes of things and I see if they're good, or maybe they can become a part of the channel. So again, if this is your first time watching me, I do anime content. It's just I've seen so much that it's hard to actually watch things. So if you want more of these type of recaps and first episode things, let me know. If there's a specific series you want to see me do on the channel that I haven't seen already, same thing, let me know about that. Also too, just cartoons, that's my main thing here. Music I haven't done yet. And Patreons where the thing's popping. My Little Pony's happening right now. I know it's crazy, right? Alright, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys for joining me. And I will see you when I